They told him everything was covered. "You're in the VA system now," they said. "You'll be taken care of." But no one mentioned hearing aids, or the burial benefit, or the legal help that could have saved him thousands. It wasn't that those things didn't exist. They did. He just never knew to ask. And that's the part no one talks about. Every year, thousands of veterans walk away from benefits they already qualify for, simply because no one at the VA thought to bring them up. They're buried in paperwork, hidden behind vague forms, or quietly skipped over during appointments. Not out of cruelty, but out of a system that expects you to figure it all out on your own. But today, we're pulling back the curtain. In this video, we're going to walk through 6 surprising things veterans can get completely free. No gimmicks, no strings, but that almost no one knows about unless they dig for it. If you've ever served or know someone who has, you'll want to watch this to the end. Because one of these could save you money, protect your family, or change the way you live every single day. Let's get started. Most veterans assume hearing aids are only covered if they were injured in combat or have a service-connected condition. That's what Mark believed, too, after years of working on the flight deck. His hearing had slowly faded. He thought it was just part of aging, something he'd have to live with. When he finally brought it up during a routine VA appointment, the nurse simply said, "Well, unless it's service-related, you probably don't qualify." But that wasn't true. What Mark didn't know is that the VA actually offers free, high-quality hearing aids to any veteran enrolled in VA healthcare, even if a hearing loss isn't officially linked to service. The only requirement? You have to meet certain clinical guidelines and be evaluated by VA audiology. And here's the catch. No one automatically refers you to audiology. You have to specifically request it. If you don't bring it up, it doesn't come up. The hearing aids themselves aren't cheap either. We're talking top-tier digital devices, often the same models private clinics charge thousands for, and not just the devices. Maintenance, batteries, fittings, all covered. It's one of the most valuable hidden benefits out there, especially for older veterans dealing with gradual hearing loss. So why don't more people know about it? Because unless your provider checks a certain box or you use the right language, the opportunity slips right past you. You're left thinking you're ineligible when you're not. But that wasn't the only benefit hiding in plain sight. Most families assume funeral costs are something they'll have to handle themselves. When a veteran passes, the focus is on grief, not paperwork. And that's exactly how this next benefit slips through the cracks. What many don't realize is that the VA offers comprehensive burial benefits, including a free burial plot, headstone, U.S. flag, and even perpetual care at national cemeteries. It's a powerful way to honor veteran service. But here's the painful truth. Thousands of families never claim it. Not because they don't qualify, but because no one told them it existed until it was too late. Even cremation services can be partially covered, but the rules are complicated. Some families end up paying out of pocket for services the VA would have provided, simply because they didn't file the right forms in time. There are deadlines, required documentation, and location-specific rules that aren't always explained clearly. And once the funeral has passed, the window often closes. One widow shared that the funeral home never even asked if her husband was a veteran. She only found out about the benefit weeks later, after everything had been paid for. She tried to apply retroactively, but the claim was denied. "If someone had just told me," she said, "we would have done everything differently." That's the quiet heartbreak behind this. These aren't luxury perks. These are earned rights, symbols of respect and dignity, but they're only honored if someone knows to ask. And sadly, this isn't the only benefit that disappears when you don't know where to look. It's something most people pay for without thinking. $20 here, 30 there. But for veterans, it could be free for life. And yet, hardly anyone knows it exists. Across the United States, entry to national parks can add up fast. Whether you're visiting Yellowstone, hiking the Grand Canyon, or just taking a day trip to a local federal recreation area, those entrance fees stack up. But what many veterans don't realize is that they're eligible for a lifetime National Parks Pass, completely free. It's called the America the Beautiful Veterans Lifetime Pass, and it grants unlimited access to over 2,000 national parks, forests, monuments, and wildlife refuges. And we're not just talking about free entry for the veteran. In most cases, The pass covers everyone in the same vehicle. For someone who loves the outdoors, this is a golden ticket and a massive savings. So, why don't more veterans use it? Because it's not automatic. You don't get the pass in the mail. No one hands it to you when you leave the military. You have to apply for it separately, either online or in person at select federal sites. All you need is proof of service and a valid photo ID. But if you don't know it exists, you'll keep paying full price. Over and over again, one veteran said he visited national parks for years and never once thought to ask if he qualified for a discount. When he finally heard about the pass from another veteran at a campground, he applied that same day. "I was stunned," he said. "All this time, I could have been going for free." It's a small gesture of appreciation, but only if you know to claim it. And what's coming next can make an even bigger difference, especially if mobility has become a daily challenge. When your knees ache going up the stairs, or your bathroom feels more dangerous than safe, most people assume they have to just deal with it, or pay out of pocket for expensive modifications. But if you're a veteran, that may not be true. There's a benefit almost no one talks about: adaptive housing support. And it can completely change the way you live, especially if you're dealing with mobility limitations. Through programs like the Specially Adapted Housing, SH, and Special Home Adaptation, SHA grants, eligible veterans can receive free home modifications. Things like ramps, widened doorways, grab bars, even walk-in showers. And here's the surprising part. You don't have to own your home to qualify. Many veterans think this benefit is only for people with a mortgage and a permanent address. But the VA has flexibility built in. Renters can still receive these modifications with landlord approval. That means even if you live in an apartment or a temporary setup, you could still have safety upgrades installed at no cost to you. The catch? You have to know what to ask for. Most VAs won't bring it up unless you mention housing adaptations or show visible signs of impairment. And even then, there's often confusion between which grant covers what or who's supposed to help you apply. One veteran shared that he struggled with balance after a stroke, but had no idea there was a program that could install a custom ramp to his front door for free. He found out months later through a support group after nearly falling down the steps more than once. "It wasn't just a ramp," he said. "It gave me my independence back." That's what this is really about. Not just upgrades, but dignity. And believe it or not, the next item on the list is just as overlooked, even though it could relieve pain veterans carry every single day. For years, Robert just lived with the pain. His feet ached every time he stood up. Walking across the grocery store felt like a marathon. He chalked it up to age, bad shoes, maybe a few too many years on concrete floors. What he didn't know was that the VA could have helped, not with a painkiller, but with something much more practical. Custom orthotics and specialized footwear are one of the most underutilized benefits veterans qualify for, especially those with joint issues, flat feet, diabetes, or chronic pain from service-related wear and tear. These aren't cheap insoles from a pharmacy. We're talking about professional-grade orthotics fitted by a podiatrist, and in some cases, medically prescribed boots or shoes designed to relieve long-term pressure and prevent injuries. The cost? $0. Covered by the VA, as long as the provider determines they're medically necessary. But here's where things get frustrating. Most veterans don't know to ask. They go in for back pain or knee issues and leave with general advice. Rest more, stretch, maybe lose a few pounds. No one ever connect the dots between posture, pain, and poor foot support. Even worse, many primary care providers overlook it completely unless you specifically request a referral to podiatry. Robert only found out when a fellow veteran at physical therapy noticed his limp and said, "Have you gotten fitted yet?" Fitted? He had no idea what that meant. 2 months later, with new orthotics and better shoes, he wasn't pain-free, but he could walk again without wincing. "I didn't realize how much I'd adapted to the pain," he said. "I just thought that's how life felt now." That's the danger of living with discomfort too long. It starts to feel normal. But what's even more surprising? There's a way to get help with legal issues too, and almost nobody knows it's an option. When you think of VA benefits, legal help probably isn't the first thing that comes to mind. Most veterans assume that if they run into legal trouble, housing disputes, denied claims, debt collection, they're completely on their own. But what they don't know is that some VA facilities quietly offer free legal aid through outside partnerships. It's not advertised. It's not posted on signs in the waiting room. And unless you ask the right person, you might never hear about it at all. These clinics don't handle every type of case, but for things like landlord issues, benefits appeals, credit disputes, or discharge upgrades, they can be a lifeline. And they're staffed by real attorneys, often volunteers or part of nonprofit legal organizations, who understand both the law and how it applies to veterans specifically. One Vietnam vet named Jerry had been struggling with a landlord who refused to fix unsafe living conditions. He couldn't afford to move, and he didn't think he had any legal standing. It was a VA social worker, not a doctor, who casually mentioned the legal clinic 2 floors up. Jerry walked in, explained the situation, and a week later, he had legal representation, free of charge. The case was resolved. The landlord made the repairs, and Jerry stayed in his home without having to fight alone. Here's the catch. Not every VA offers this, and it's almost never something they tell you unless you ask. You'll need to search your local VA's website, ask your social worker directly, or look up Veterans Legal Clinic near me. But the help exists. And for veterans already navigating a mountain of paperwork, appointments, and financial stress, it can be a game changer. Because sometimes the difference between being ignored and being heard is knowing that someone's in your corner. Most of these benefits aren't hidden. They're just never mentioned. They sit quietly in the background, buried in long documents, waiting for someone to ask the right question. And that's what makes it so frustrating. These aren't handouts. They're not extras. They're things veterans have earned through years of service, sacrifice, and putting the country first. But when the system fails to speak up, too many veterans walk away thinking there's nothing more for them. And that's just not true. If one of these 6 surprise you, you're not alone. Hearing aids, burial coverage, legal help, adaptive housing, orthotics, national park passes, all real, all free, and all things that many veterans go without simply because no one at the VA ever brought it up. So here's what you could do now. Share this with someone who served, a friend, a neighbor, a family member. You never know which of these benefits could change their life. And if you're a veteran yourself, ask questions, push for answers, and never assume no is the final word. Because too often, the door is unlocked, you just have to know it's there. If you found this video helpful, please leave a comment and let us know which benefit stood out to you most. Your feedback helps us create more content that actually serves the people it's meant to support. Like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss another video. We got more important truths coming your way. Thanks for being here. And more importantly, thank you for your service. We'll see you in the next one.